Welcome back, everyone. Today, let's talk about slicing a string. But before we get started with that, I wanted to quickly show, as you saw that from last lesson, we already have all this bunch of different things in here, and there are a lot of items in here, right? Obviously, that takes away a lot of space and whatnot. So if you want to clear it, obviously, we can just minimize or just close this, and they'll remove everything. But if we don't want to close this console, what we can do, we can just delete or clear all this trash icon. We can click this and it'll just remove everything. So that's another way of doing it. But obviously, we can just do this and that'll just work as well. And obviously, if we just do that and run, and obviously that'll still be there. It's if we just close this, that'll just close out everything, and the run will just go away, basically. That said, let's just create another one called slicing a string. So this Python file and 082. I don't think it can say Python. You can just say slicing strings. This, close that. So now we have this. So let's just say, let's just create a string first. Let's just say, hello Python. And from here, if I want to do slicing we can do in multiple different ways. So one of the ways, let's say I want to get certain characters within this, right? One way we can do this thing, let's say we just do print, and we can just say A, and after A, we put this, and within this, let's say I put 0, and so as you know, indexing starts from, like in any program language, starts from 0 index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, then 4, right? So this thing is going to be 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So if I was to do, let's say 0 and 7, I'm expecting that it should print up until here. So let's just do that. As you can see, it indeed did that. Hello P. Right, that last character, it does not get printed. If I was to put, as you can see, so right here I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 characters get ignored. If I put 8, which is T, in this case, PY, up until PY, it'll get printed. The T will not get printed. So if I was to run this right there, right? That said, obviously there are other ways that we can do as well, which is, let's say I want to print out everything from, let's say everything from the this character right here, second character, which is 0, 1, which is 1, right? If I was to do just this 0, 1, and I put this, so let's have to say hey first, and then I can just say 1, and this is basically saying print everything. Yeah, let me just run this thing, and then you can just see it right there. That basically just says print everything from the starting point to the end. Doesn't really matter how many characters in there. There literally could be thousands of it. It really doesn't matter. It'll just print everything from the beginning, or whatever character limit we say, to the end. Right? That said, if I want to, let's just, for easier sake, I'll just copy paste. So in this case, let's say I want to print everything from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So let's say I just put 4 in here, and I do this. Again, like I said over here, the last character will get ignored. So everything from this character, from prior to this character, everything will get printed. Okay, so that hello O was the 4th here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So that's why HELL, again, hell. But if I was to just say 5 in here, in that case, hello will get printed. right? I can also, yeah, I mean, again, you guys can definitely try more of this on your own. I can also do minus as well, right? How minus works is, let's say, A, right? If I was to say, let's say this and -1, if I was to just say that, say it'll just print out everything from the very end, So -1 is, so it'll ignore this. So whenever you're starting from the left, it's just -1. -1 is this first character. So it doesn't start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, not like that. It'll just start from 1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and whatnot. So if I was to say something like this, -1, it'll ignore the n, and it'll just print out everything else. If I was to say -2, let's see that the last two characters will just get ignored, and then the remaining characters will just get printed. Same thing if I was to say, let's say I do this, and I can also, mention certain characters over here as well. Let's say minus, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something. And I run it, it'll print out everything that's within the character right there. So started from -2, right? So that's -1, -2, right? And then everything, and it's like this, the characters that got printed, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Always the 8 character. So it is just going from left to right. That's all it's doing. So minus, whenever we put minus, it starts from the very end, while ignoring the first, whatever the number we put here, that many characters will get ignored and everything else will get printed. Whereas the same thing, if we start from the front, 0, so in the beginning, it starts with 0. If we say 0 something, it'll print out that 0. It'll not ignore, whereas, it'll ignore the last, character. So if we do minus, it'll just subtract this minus character, it'll subtract whatever the number of characters, and then it'll print up until this last digit. Whereas if we don't have a negative, this 0 will, from the 0th character, it'll get printed, and this last character, 8th character, will just get ignored. Hopefully that makes sense. If you guys do have any other questions, please do let me know in the comment section, and please do subscribe if you have not already. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.